Somebody asked me the other day, how long have you been going to the smokehouse? I remember the first time I went, the meal from there has already been carbon dated. It's that far back.
Everybody that was on staff or under contract at Warner Brothers, of course, hung out at the smokehouse. No wonder I thought it was an all-star place.
The first time I was at the smokehouse, I think it was 1961. I came here from the Bronx, New York. We didn't have a smokehouse in the Bronx. We had a lot of smoke, but we didn't have that restaurant, and there it was. And I was working at NBC out here in Burbank for Joey Bishop, who was replacing Jack Parr at the time. And I came here after one of the shows, but I've been coming ever since.
The original smokehouse was started here at Riverside and Pass in Burbank in 1946 by two Lockheed engineers, Jim Stockton and Jack Monroe. Jim was the promoter and frontman, and Jack was the cook. Opening night was attended by such neighborhood luminaries as Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. Soon after, all 46 seats were regularly filled to capacity, and it was time to look for larger quarters. As fate would have it, the Red Coach Inn, built by Danny Kaye but never opened, was available, and in 1948 became the permanent home of the smokehouse. By 1952, Jim's younger brother Stan was running the restaurant, and Chef John L. Sullivan's unique recipe for garlic bread made the smokehouse the largest purveyor of French bread west of the Mississippi. In 1955, famed Southern California architect Wayne McAllister expanded the restaurant from 6,000 to 18,000 square feet, adding a lounge and bar area.
The smokehouse is one of the great treasures of Los Angeles, just the kind of thing that all of us at the LA Conservancy are working hard to save. This building was designed by Wayne McAllister, who was a very important modern architect, although here we see a little bit more of the rustic English Tudor, kind of English revival style, kind of taking us back to another time in history. McAllister was well known for many restaurants. He did the Cinegrill in Hollywood, Lowry's on La Cienega, and perhaps most famously, Bob's Big Boy in Toluca Lake, not far from here. What's important about the smokehouse is that it is still the smokehouse. It's not just the building, it's the restaurant.
The smokehouse's proximity to the studios soon made it the de facto watering hole for celebrities and studio workers alike. It wasn't unusual to see Errol Flynn, Judy Garland, Humphrey Bogart, Cary Grant, Milton Berle, or Robert Redford walk through the smokehouse doors into the restaurant known for respecting their privacy.
Everybody was in here from the shows. I waited on Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt, and Sally Field used to come in when she was a flying nun. Paul Lynde when he had the show over there. I waited on Lana Turner, Adam West. I've been waiting on Adam West since he was Batman. I don't remember exactly what year that show started, but now, still through the years, they hear his voice first, and when he walks in, they go, Adam West is here, Adam West is here. It's just as amazing. He was the nicest guy in the whole world, and he was funny, too.
I know the people here. I know Judy, the waitress who's been here 100 years.
I've waited on Gary Marshall since I came here. Gary is a special, special man. One of my customers said, why wouldn't he be special? He's never had a failure.
It has a personal part of my life, the smokehouse, because I used to work at Warner Brothers, which is just across the street. And another guy who worked there was George Clooney. He was on ER. I was on Murphy Brown. He wasn't George Clooney yet, and I wasn't Gary Marshall yet. But we hung out, and we'd come after, and we'd come here to the smokehouse at night after the shows. And George would sit in the bar in the dark section because he was with various girls, and I would sit in the light section because I was hungry and also married. But through the years, we used to talk and meet, and I know George very aptly named his production company Smokehouse Productions, and it's on every movie he does, and I know what he's talking about. I don't think anybody else does, but we know here at the Smokehouse.
Perhaps one of my most vivid memories in the Smokehouse is we were just putting together Laugh-In, and nobody knew what it was.
George Schlatter and Ed Friendly had an office right across the street. So Artie Johnson, George Schlatter, and I were writing bad jokes over there, and we decided to come over to lunch. George and I are washing our hands in the bathroom at the smokehouse.
So I'm standing in the men's room of the smokehouse facing a tile wall. And a voice comes in and says,
My, the acoustics are good in here.
Hi, George. My, the acoustics in here. I said, whoa, that's Gary Owens. I said, Gary, that's perfect. He said, what's perfect? I said, that's what I want you to do on the show.
He said, my God, that's what I want you to do. So I said, you want me to wash my hands in the bathroom? He said, no. You be the announcer who's the in-betweener between Rowan and Martin and their monologue and Goldie Hawn and the whole gang.
Then we would edit that into the show. And every time Rowan and Martin would come out and just banter and babble, we'd cut to Gary and he would say, in another part of town, and then we would cut away. We had great fun there. I have great memories because our offices were directly across the street from the smokehouse. It was the clubhouse, the meeting room for all of our afternoon, evening, and early morning events when we were doing Laugh-In. Goldie and Artie and Ruth and Lily. We'd rehearse in our offices across the street from the smokehouse, and then we'd go to the smokehouse for a beverage break.
This was the celebration of neighborhood that I don't think any other neighborhood really had. It's a studio place, and you always see people you know here, or people you wish you knew. And Mayberry RFD was right across the street. And I used to do guest shots there at Warner's, or just go visit or take people to look at it, whatever it was. And the smokehouse is part of the studio connection.
It's funny because it's so close to the studios. The smokehouse is a great meeting place. So over the years, we've been fortunate enough to go in there like after an interview with Madonna or Britney Spears or Taylor Swift or George Clooney or somebody. It's a perfect stopping place, and the stories start to flow. You have a couple of the happy hour adult beverages, and the next thing you know, you're finding out much more than you did in the previous interview. The interview should have been done at the smokehouse.
In the 70s, groups such as the Ink Spots, Drifters, and Captain and Tennille played the Smokehouse Lounge, carrying on the tradition of LA's great supper clubs.
I've been here at the Smokehouse for over 10 years, one of the legendary supper clubs left in Los Angeles.
Whatever you need me, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be around.
In 1983, co-owner Lee Spencer began the famous Smokehouse Sunday Brunch, the first restaurant brunch in the San Fernando Valley. In May 2003, owners Lee and Marty Spencer hosted a major charity event at the Smokehouse, a benefit for the USO at LAX in honor of Bob Hope's 100th birthday. The sold-out event featured such entertainment greats as Mickey and Jan Rooney, Tom Dreesen.
You know, you can go when you're going to a Walmart and you say, you know, everything I need in life is right in here.
And the Drifters. 2006 featured their landmark 60th anniversary celebration, with commendations from state and local dignitaries.
On behalf of Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and all the city of Los Angeles, congratulations to you folks. Thank you.
It's an institution that so many people have a story about, but it's always a good story. That's what the Smokehouse is all about. This is a real special spot, and being close to Warner Brothers across the street, Universal over here, and the other lots, how many people of note, both in front and behind the camera, came here to relax and enjoy. The Smokehouse is a very special place.
I can't remember a time since moving and being in California that I haven't thought, let's celebrate at the Smokehouse.
The Smokehouse is a go-to place for celebrating and being comfortable and being surrounded by memories.
So the Smokehouse has seen us through joyous occasions, it's seen us through sad occasions, But somehow you always felt a little better after you visited the smokehouse.
I love the slogan of the smokehouse, where every diner is treated like a star. It's just phenomenal, because you do feel that way.